shit. Doggo. Doggo. Smushy, smushy, smush face. Goofy dog. Doggo. Doggo, doggo indeed. I like how it has like little fucks to give about that. Do 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 do. Oh, there it is. Come on. Honey, get a shirt on. Ran out of boxes, so get some more tomorrow. Oh, did you ever get boxes from that store or whatever the fuck? I got pile clothes here, so yeah, because that's always great. You know what? I'll wear this. We'll wear the shirt of one of your favorite bands. How about that? There we go. Most of them are behind a locked gate for some reason. Oh, dude, I bet that fucking cop went to went to the management of that fucking Walmart and said, hey, lock up your dumpsters. You got a bunch of delinquents over there taking shit. I guarantee you it was like some stupid shit like that, bro. Oh fuck, it is cold in here. Ugh. Probably lol. I mean, yeah, honestly. Anyway. Have a long sleeve over here. Yes, I do right here. Sweet. You look store and got a bunch from their boxes. They don't give a fuck at all. Well, dude, they're a liquor store. Of course they don't give a fuck. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes every now and then they get annoyed by the cops too. Fuck, cold. Come. Alright. Come on. Oops. Alright. Laughing about apparently this cocktail called Kinky. Yeah, the Kinky. Yeah, I mean, they have names for all sorts of different, like, cocktails. My favorite name, probably not my favorite drink necessarily, but it's definitely top 5, would be the Irish Car Bomb. It's basically an Irish version of a Boilermaker. And it is good. The box says it was for sexual desires. Nice. fucking cold in here. Be liquid marijuana. That's actually technically another drink. Liquid marijuana is more like AMS or something like that. Because it's basically like, it's, hold on, I mean, I know it's like actually called something different. I think people just call it liquid marijuana now just because of weed being legal. Fuck. Okay, here we go. Just want to find the dude that I want to look at specifically. Okay, I guess there really specifically isn't. I know it was like called something different too. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Hold on. So it says real updates. I'm not looking at news right now. I'm trying to see if I can find the specific video I'm trying to look for. Oh, I think I know what this dude is. Hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. I found the dude, and now I just need to find the short. There we go. Where the fuck would it be? Might be this, I think. Oh, yeah, it was this. It's what this person... Oh, okay, so it was fucking this. Like, okay, so liquid marijuana is literally called a bunch of different things depending on where you make it. Like, because this person calls it a hocus pocus.
Hocus cocktails, Winnie Fred.
I need it! Hocus pocus, Winifred. This just sounds like I'm gonna watch this movie again tonight. Fill this right in a 16-ounce pint glass. Do my own version because clearly I don't have green sugar for the brain. Sue me. Enjoy Harry Potter. Add fresh ice. Half ounce of blue curacao.
Blue curacao.
1 ounce coconut Malibu.
Coconut Malibu.
Pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice.
I'm just gonna turn this real quick. Pop off the Sprite. There's no need for a garnish. See how it is. Oh, that's dangerously good.
Dangerous. Dangerously good. So that's what I was trying to find, because honestly, they call it different things depending on where you go. Like, some people call it liquid marijuana. I guess some people, mainly Harry Potter nerds, would probably call it the hocus pocus. I mean, I remember, instead of, like, something else, instead of the Morgans, it was, what is it called? That, like, green liqueur? I forget the name of it specifically, but it's like that. Bildronius, some shit. I forgot what it's called, but, I mean, it was like that with the Malibu and a little pineapple juice of shit. And it's one of those things where, like, it was technically like a special cocktail that because I got at a FurryCon, and it was like a special cocktail called, like, the Fluffer or something like that. I forgot exactly what it was called. But goddamn was it good. I can make a screwdriver that almost has no alcohol taste, but it'll get you drunk. Well, yeah. A screwdriver certainly will. Now I have the Bear's Taste of Liquor. Well, I mean, some people want that, though. I mean, a best mixologist will know exactly what, like, you know, the person wants for their drink. Like, in a sense of, like, what they ask for, and, you know, being like, hey, I like this, and, you kind of, like, unless say they're a regular, and you kind of know exactly how they like their drink, then, if anything, that wouldn't be a bad thing. For me personally, I kind of like a stronger drink. I like having a little bit of that alcohol taste in there. So, like, I mean, if I'm getting, like, a screwdriver, I want at least a little bit of a punch in there. I don't want it to barely taste like it. I don't want it to taste like regular orange juice. I want a little bit of something to let me know it's got a kick, you know what I'm saying? In a way, it kind of helps, you know, me understand the limit. Because if I'm feeling good and I'm tasting it, I'm like, alright, I could probably, you know, set this aside for a little bit. Call it good, get some water. That's part of the reason why, at least for me, is because it's basically, you know, one of those things where I can kind of gauge a little bit, depending on how I feel. Okay, I got a little bowl going here. It says she might go to the bar with us. Oh, hell yeah. Well, and you said it's a karaoke bar, so we should go on karaoke night. You know, because honestly, dude, I bet I will throw some Riz game, dude. I bet I could throw down some Riz. Dude, funny enough, actually, I don't know if you saw on the Onion Nuggets on last Friday, but dude, I rizzed somebody up. Someone sent a super chat being like, oh, I'm at the karaoke bar, what should I sing? It was like some chick named like Smelly Jelly. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to send a super chat. And I'm like, and being like, you know, I'd buy you a drink if I could. Because I fucking love, you know, checking out people like sing karaoke and stuff. Especially a song she'll sing. I think she'll sing a Radioactive. I'm like, all right. I never hear that as a karaoke. And a chick singing it, that would probably be cool. You know, so it's like, I was just like, yo, I'm a, you know, common occurrence at my bar. You know, make it a routine. She did say she appreciated offer after I sent a super chat saying that. Paul was like, look at this furry trying to get his Riz game up. I did think you like Imagine Dragons. I don't really. But Radioactive, you know, is actually not a bad song depending on my mood. Like, I like that song when I'm in the mood for it. Like, it's not really like a bad song to me. I don't really know any of their other songs. Like, I mean, that's the only one I really know of. So, I mean, it's not that I like them. I just like the song. I think the song's okay. You know, it's like, on its own, it's just, whatever. But, you know, if someone were to do, like, a karaoke or something like that of that song, it actually ain't bad. Like, I could be in the mood for it. Like, I mean, at my karaoke bar, you know, every now and then people sing Disney songs. You know, like, you know, Disney princess songs. And I'll sing to that shit drunk as fuck, not giving a care in the world. Like, the only time you'll see me go hard on Let It Go is at a karaoke bar. Just saying. Let it go! Like, I mean, I'll straight, you know, pop my heart out on that shit, you know, fucking at a karaoke bar, bro. Dude, the whole bar will usually go popping off on that shit. If a Disney song pops up, like, at least our karaoke bar, like, a lot of people will straight up, like, kind of pop off a little bit. I have a couple decent songs IMO. I'm sure they do. But yeah, like I was saying though, like, you know, Paul fucking like hit my super chat up, being like, look at this furry trying to riz up a chick. But hey, joke's on him. Chick was like, hey, I appreciate the offer, thanks. She sent another super chat saying that. So we like, there was like super chats where they, you know, win at the end of the day, you know, the DFF crew. But like me and the other chick were like super chatting back and forth at each other. It was pretty funny. But you know what? Like, hey, you know, you gotta shoot that shot sometimes. Even if, you know, you aren't really actively seeking some shit out, you gotta practice. You know, you gotta throw the Riz out there every now and then. Scared, so don't expect me to sing unless I'm drunk as fuck. That's how I started. And now I'll, like, sing even if I'm not drunk at this point. Like, if I go to karaoke bar, sign up, get my first drink, and I'm, like, next in line, I'm just gonna go up there. I'm not gonna be like, wait until I'm drunk first, skip to the other person. Like, do me after the other guy. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna go up there and just start drinking it up while I'm singing. I'll warm myself up while I'm singing. Saw me and Paul on DFF Facebook today of him hunting furries. Hunting furries. Dude, yeah, well, Paul wanted to go out of his way to hunt furries. He likes to joke about furries and fuck on furries. Like, and I'm okay with that, whatever. I find it funny, if anything. So, like, but Paul wanted straight up, like, go out of his way to do that. I know Paul enough. DFF Facebook's a hive of scum and villainy. I imagine it is. I imagine it's genuinely, unironically worse than fucking, like, Reddit. Like, than the Reddit, dude. The DFF subreddit is a hive of scum and villainy, but I imagine the Facebook version of that group is worse. Because from what I understand, DFF isn't, like the guys don't even run it. Like, it's just a fan page. People have been exiled from the subreddit. So probably right-wingers, trolls, people like, Kawaii Koss, who probably has a 20th suck account. Like, some motherfucker like that. Maybe like Isla Mao, who did like a ban spree once on Ideology years back. Dude, I remember that, actually. There's a Ideology where Paul, like, 20 minutes into Ideology was like, why in the fuck did, like, suddenly, like, 50 people leave and, like, no one's talking anymore? Like, it was just honestly genuinely kind of hilarious. Like, out of nowhere, Paul's like, what the fuck? And then people with, like, their backup accounts came back saying, why was I banned? Like, Isla Mao banned me. And then, like, a bunch of other people started saying the same thing. And, like, because Isla Mao was, like, a mod for Ideology for at least, like, a year or so before he just did the Great Purge. Like, Isla Mao supplanted himself secretly into Ideology's mod team and literally did a Stalin Great Purge. Like, out of nowhere, quietly, just, like, in the midst of a stream. And Paul had to go to his ban list and pretty much, like, just purposely go clean slate. Like, I mean, Isla Mao unintentionally made him do a clean slate, like, on bans and stuff because of that. Because so many people got banned. It was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna unban everybody, and the pieces of shit that come back, I'll just ban them again. It's like, I mean, but at least for the people that unintentionally were, at least they're not. So, I just found that pretty hilarious. I somehow missed it. I was chatting actively in that live stream, I remember. And I was like, and at a certain point, I'm like, where'd everyone go? I literally said that, and I think that's when Paul was like, yeah, what the fuck? I'm like, where is everybody? And that's when we found out. And I was like, oh shit. I somehow managed to miss one of the bullets. It's like, shit. This makes your right-toid fans are weird furries. Honestly, I'll never understand why there are right-wingers that like DFF. Like, they're overtly left. Like, I mean, and they overtly make fun and shit on right-wingers and conservatism. Just flat off the bat. It doesn't matter if you're like a far right-winger, they just make fun of conservatism, just full stop. If you're a conservative, they're going to fuck on you, and rightfully so, because you're an idiot. So, I mean, like, I don't get that. Are they just gluttons for punishment? Leftovers from TJ's grifting days. And they probably could just fuck off now. Go to Sargon, go to fucking the quartering and shit like that, you fucking weirdos. Why y'all still, like, sipping to TJ thinking he's just going to, like, change his mind out of nowhere? I guarantee you that's it. It's like, oh, he's going to go back to his anti-SJW days anytime now. He's going to have a change of heart. He's going to realize. Oh my God. Even though they don't realize that he's actually going to get more woke, more left, and more radical, and more crazy, too. They think he's going to change his mind any day now. Is that, wait, is that actually true? You send me a screen cap or something. Send me a screen cap from one of these weirdos talking about TJ if you can. Not now. You don't have to do it now. But, like, next time you're on the DFF Facebook page and you see a weird, stupid comment, you gotta screen cap it to me, dude. I want to see some of the weird shit that goes on over there. What's your deal, dude? A lot of weird fan art. I mean, the weird fan art, I think, is just kind of a granted. Because it's DFF. I mean, like, they got some weird-ass art. And they got some weird-ass fans. So, I mean, that I'm not surprised with. And the idea of them getting rid of Paul is kind of funny. I'm pretty sure Paul's not going anywhere. Honestly, I'd find it more likely to, you know, that Scotty would say fuck it. A lot of TJ X Scotty fan art. What? Okay, you don't need to go into any more detail. Yeah, my doggo needs food. You need your food bowl re-upped, don't you? Re-upped. You can get another thing of doggo food for you. Got like... Got one more bowl's worth of doggo food for you until... They're all gone. That ain't good. Here you go. Venom, what did I just say? I said I don't need to know any more information. I don't need to know that. Like, oh my god. It's like, I know there's some strange art out there, especially of TJ, but like, goddamn. Kaiser Scotty. Well, the thing is, like, it's more of like a Kaiser uniform more than anything, more than like specifically a German one. But I guess it doesn't really matter. It's all like based off of like the Prussian style. Either whatever. I'm just burning out over that stupid shit. Who cares? Trying to keep it not weird. Wait, what? What's this? Pro-Palestinian Zoomers take over TikTok? What the hell? Hilarious parody of Israel's low-effort propaganda goes viral. Oh my god.
Here, this is the...
Okay, I kind of want to see it. Fuck you, YouTube. Oh my god. No, really? You're not going to do the full screen for me? Give me a second. Let me deal with this bullshit. There we go. Fucking... So, like, I love how YouTube, like, likes to take a gamble every now and then. And gamble and be like, hey, let's see if we're going to have a video full screen today. And it's just like, nah. There we go. There we go. That's much better.
Here, this is the most important piece of evidence that we have against Hamas here. As you can see...
I already love this. I love the ridiculous fucking hat she's wearing. The fucking airsoft gun and everything. And you know what? Proof of Hamas. We got a robe. We got some drip, dude. We got some drippy ass robes, dude. You know, the first step to join Hamas is you either drip or drown. And Hamas's motto is you drown the drip.
The dress that civilians wear. What is this, you may ask? Hamas tunnels. This is a map of Hamas tunnels.
What? Oh my god, no way. She's, dude, that's awesome. She's looking at the designs and being like, see, these are Hamas tunnels. You think these are just regular patterns on a robe. No, they are tunnels for the Hamas. Even the person in the video looks 12. I know.
They all wear it, and Hamas finds where the tunnels is.
Yeah, I feel like this is just some normal dress design.
Are you I think it's sympathizer. Do you want Israel to die? Is this what you're saying?
Oh.
God! Bro, give me another reporter. What the
Give me another. Oh my god. Okay, that was that was fucking awesome. There has to be a fuller version. There has to be a bunch of these, right? Dude, that was just way too good. That was fucking amazing. Okay, like, dude, man, you gotta give it to, like, you know, the Zoomies a little bit. Like, they know how to, like, you know, just have some, like, shit talk humor. That is pretty funny. Like, the Zoomers, like, ability to kind of roast is generally very respectable. I can kind of respect, you know, a good Zoomer roast. Because that right there is a Zoomer roast. Like, that's a Zoomer just roasting the fuck out of Israel and the idea right there. Roasting a whole country with just, like, one fucking video, dude. One skit. There's a fake shit. Oh my god, yes. Yes, let's go. Let's do it. We're going in. We're going in. We're doing this.
You just watched a parody.
I mean, we already were going to be doing it. We're already going to watch all of this, but oh my god, let's go.
Sports propaganda by Syrian TikToker Taima, and she is one of the thousands of young people to post TikToks criticizing Israel that have gone viral. Now, the pro-Palestinian sentiment that we're seeing from young people on TikTok has led to this manufactured hysteria over the platform, and whether or not it is genuinely brainwashing young people into supporting Palestine and being anti-Israel. So we'll talk about that discourse in this video, and I'll answer that question as to whether or not it's happening. Spoiler alert, it's not. But before we get to...
I mean, the idea of, like, some weird fucking, like, campaign to, like, propagandize kids into just being pro-Palestinian. Honestly, literally, the only people doing that is the Israeli government and the IDF, bro. They're doing it on themselves. They're doing it to themselves, bro. It's like, I mean, all the Israel and the IDF has to do is basically just exist and just fuck on Palestinians, and there you go. There's their propaganda to support Palestinians. Like, I mean, really.
Let's watch one more clip from Taima.
We have the Hamas operation calendar. It says there's Muhammad right there, and Ahmed. This is Hamas's map of...
It's a Cards Against Humanity set.
They want to eradicate us, the ethnic people in our holy land. It says against humanity. Against humanity. We are saving you. Oh, okay, go on. What happened? What happened? What happened? What's going on? What's going on? Where? What? Did you get that? Did you get that? No, go on, came out of the tunnel.
Oh, they weren't here?
No, bro. Look, I told you. How long have you been there? Are you new? You're probably new, right? You're probably, hey, oh my god,
She is amazing.
Dude, she is good. Holy shit. I love it. Oh my god. She is single-handedly making me want to get a TikTok now. Like, legit. I'm not even kidding. Like, I low-key kind of want to get a TikTok just to follow her, and honestly make skits too. Like, I've kind of thought about, you know, doing skits here and there before, like, you know, with some of my buddies, because honestly, like, I've thought about some skits where they could be kind of funny. Like, you know, like, because I've been thinking about, like, dude, it would be so easy to just do, like, some silly fake propaganda video about, like, oh, Hamas is here, you know, or some shit. We'll give into TikTok, or TokTik. I won't. I'm just saying, it's at least put the mindset in there. I've said it a few times before. There's been a few times where I'm like, you know, it's like, man, maybe I should, but I don't. I've heard, honestly, when it comes to live streams, you can actually get some decent money even with a small following. So honestly, it's just like, because my friend Rip City, his brother's done TikTok live streams where, you know, he does them for like 30 minutes to an hour, and he's gotten like $100, give or take, you know, doing them before. And I'm just like, okay. It kind of gets me, you know, thinking a little bit. So it's just like, all right, maybe. But, you know, it's also TikTok, though.
Now, listen, it's a big platform.
Okay, maybe do it. I'll donate to you. Well, actually, I don't know if you noticed. If you go on my description of my live streams now at this point, I've been putting my Cashapp in there. I'll give you my whole paycheck. Don't do that. Okay, for one, don't do that. And for two, like, I have been, you know, in my descriptions, like I said, putting my Cashapp down there, you know, as a way for people to donate if they want. I'm more or less just saying it as a tip, like if you want to tip me type of thing. You know, like if you're tipping the bartender or some shit.
Still, I don't think it's a stretch.
You know, I guess, like, at this point, you know, because of how small I am, I don't want to necessarily say full-on, like, dono, but at least, like, you know, maybe, like, a little tip or something.
Say that the overwhelming majority of young people on TikTok don't support Israel. Specifically, they're against Israel's indiscriminate bombing of innocent Palestinians.
I don't do Cash App, got a PayPal. Well, obviously, I have a PayPal, but that has my real name and stuff on there, and from my understanding, I have to go on the desktop to change it, and, you know, I just haven't done that yet, so I'm not putting that up yet. Eventually I will. Like, I'll have, like, you know, ways if, you know, people want to send, like, you know, a couple bucks here and there or something like that. And I'm not saying, like, you know, donate, like, a 10 or a 20 or whatever the fuck. I'm just saying, like, $5 or whatever the fuck. Like, when I say tip, I mean, like, a tip, not, like, you know, it's like, here's 30.
civilians in Gaza. And rightfully so. I'm glad that they're taking this stance. In fact, Axios reports that pro-Palestine TikToks get far more views than pro-Israel posts based on the hashtag stand.
All right, hold on. I'm opening this fucking door because apparently I don't know what he wants, but I'm assuming he wants to go outside. Oh, man, you're so annoying sometimes, bro. And off to the races he goes. Yeah, he went outside. Anyway, but at least, like, love intention. Well, the intention he wanted was to go take a shit outside, so that's what he's doing. Yeah, but, like, I find it funny also, like, how a lot of the pro-Palestinian posts have actually been, like, massively bumped up in comparison to pro-Israeli posts on TikTok. I kind of feel like that's, you know, outside of maybe, like, Twitter and YouTube and Facebook or some shit, I'm pretty sure it seems like that is kind of, like, you know, a common occurrence. And honestly, even on YouTube, I mean, like, I'll see a lot of shit that's actually more like 50-50, at least on YouTube, at least for me personally. I think a lot of it's just because I follow people who are obviously more pro-Palestinian in their voices and, you know, when it comes to their advocacy. And obviously, you know, the algorithm pushes a lot of mainstream media and a lot of shit that's out there that, of course, you know, the IDF is, you know, trying to put out there on the mainstream as, you know, for their propaganda and all that bullshit. But at the same time, there, even in mainstream media, there have been, like, elements of, like, for the first time in a long, long fucking time, you know, at least some mild pushback. Like, I mean, you know, there's been, like, people like, what was his name, like, Jake Tapper, you know, Wolf Blitzer even, like, a few people, you know, that are not leftist or even progressive by any real fucking metric, and even they are being like, maybe this is going too far. Like, so even in mainstream media outlets, like, they're, you know, starting to kind of be a little bit more critical about this shit. So, I mean, it's like, this honestly, like, first time in a long while where, like, pro-Palestinian messaging and, like, pro-peace messaging for the general conflict there and the incursion and shit, like, it's first time in a long time where it's actually generally getting, like, a mainstream voice. I mean, it's not, like, a major voice, but the fact that it's, like, even, like, a handful of, like, mainstream pundits are saying shit and being more critical about this is fucking saying something. Because not even, like 10 years ago, we would not be seeing this type of rhetoric. You know, we would not be seeing, you know, Jake Tapper, you know, being kind of critical about this shit. We would not be seeing so much of this type of shit. I mean, that's just a fucking fact of this type of stuff. Could make a phone call and end this in 30 minutes. Yeah, and he should. From what I understand, like, there is, like, a temporary ceasefire that's going to be happening that has been brokered between, like, Qatar and the United States, between Hamas and Israel. But it's only for, like, 5 days. So it's just, like, it really, to me, doesn't really mean anything. It's, like, it's nice, I guess, that at least for 5 days, you know, if it actually goes through, we'll fucking, like, stop, you know, the killing for a while. But that's the problem. It's temporary. It's 5 fucking days. That doesn't mean shit. It's like, oh, yeah, 5 days of not getting bombed to shit, and I guarantee you Israel and the IDF is just going to bomb them anyway. You really think Israel's, you know, gonna be honest and be faithful to a deal like that? No, they're not. And you know what's even more hilarious is, honestly, despite how fucked up Hamas can be, they're just legitimately, like, nowhere near as fucked up in comparison. Like, they would probably be way more willing to abide and be honest to a deal like that in comparison to the IDF. Like, unironically. I trust, like, at this point, like, the Hamas word, which is literally, like, this much, you know, in comparison to the IDF, which is not at all. Like, the IDF, I wouldn't even trust to fucking, like, you know, watch, you know, a fucking porta potty, you know, let alone fucking, you know, anything, really. I wouldn't trust them to make a goddamn PB&J. It's like, you know, I wouldn't trust them to fucking, you know, just, like, you know, write a goddamn fucking, you know, like, letter about, like, why ice cream tastes good. I don't even trust them to do that. So it's just like, I mean, I don't trust the Israeli government and the IDF for a lick of a fucking dick. You know, it's like, and I basically, you know, have, like, you know, 1 or 2, you know, like, points of trust, you know, towards Hamas, considering that, you know, if anything, they're a little bit more willing to be faithful to agreements and shit. and are openly being like, hey, we'll, be fine with peace and release hostages and do this and that, because we don't want even the hostages dying because you keep bombing the fuck out of us and that's killing some of them. So, I mean, if the IDF is unintentionally, well, maybe intentionally, you fucking killed some of the hostages, as just because it's collateral to them. By voting for Biden, sure, I understand. Well, as it stands now, I'm not. I mean, I'm not either. I mean, it's like I've always said, shit is subject to change, but as it stands now, fuck him. I'm just not. And I don't want to hear any electorals vote blue no matter who dumb fuck, trying to push this shit. Because I'll watch Vosh's, videos about this shit a little bit here and there, and, dude, the comment sections are just filled with these electoralists, vote blue no matter who fuckheads that are like, it's getting harder and harder to, argue this now, my dude. It's like, I really, it's like, I wish, Biden would just actually, be better about it. And it's like, you fucking naive retards, dude. You fucking naive morons. I mean, you really, the reason why he's does shit like this because you fucking sycophants, basically lick his dick day one, and basically, just are in agreement, yeah, he's just the anointed one, so he could do whatever. We'll still argue for him. It's honestly pissing me off. I like Vosh, he makes good points. Well, the thing is, I do too. I don't necessarily hate Vosh. I mean, and I do at least respect it to an extent, but that sometimes has its ebbs and flows, and frankly, lately, it's been more on the downside. It's more in the valley right now, but yeah, and a lot of it's because of this electoralist shit. Because on one hand, it'd be like, fuck Biden, when he's talking about this whole Palestinian shit, but basically, at the end of the day, you'd be like, well, the map still says vote Biden, so based my guy. It's like, how about you just say fuck him and say, at this point, I'm not going to say anything about voting or not voting for him. You make your fucking decision. Leave it at that. And just say, go vote, for Democrats on local and state level. Switch the electoralist argument around to something that's actually a little bit more worth of a fuck. And, and honestly, I wouldn't have such a fucking bad taste in my mouth with electoralism. At least when it comes to his sycophants, his fans and, that basically take his word as fucking gospel is what annoys me the most. I mean, because they, they just, it literally just, think that he can't really say anything incorrect, which is just so stupid. Or a bit of an overreaction. Well, Paul has said in, the Onion Nuggets after that show, which I think was last Friday, he even said, yo, if, Vosh was going debate bro mode, and I just kind of followed him there, I mean, he's the one who led it there. If anything, Paul, said, in the last Onion Nuggets, yeah, I did that, basically because he was egging it on, and he kept prodding me. Of course I'm going to react to it. And he said, yeah, I was a little hyperbolic about it, but it's a show. I mean, obviously I'm going to get a little over the top about it here and there. The emotion's still the same, but, how, I went about it was obviously a little hyperbolic in comparison to how I probably would in a regular conversation. I mean, he's always been like that, really. He's always said this about people, he'll, have it as a guest on the show. Back in DP, he was the same way. I mean, he's always been like that. So, I mean, for me, it's not really that much of a, revelation of, oh, no. And I kind of find it silly that people think, oh, my God, he's just like this, and he's like a child. It's motherfucker, it's do these people really not know him, or do they have that much of a short-term memory? He's always been like this. It's what people say, balls has become Brett. Dude, Brett wishes he could be like Paul. Paul's married, fucking has a successful show. Well, I guess Brett's married too. But, he has a successful show while Brett doesn't. Paul has a pretty, strong, close, fan base. Brett doesn't. He has a bunch of, hate followers and people that like to locale and troll him. And also, Paul actually has, a core group of friends that he can rely on and always has. Brett doesn't. Paul, Brett wishes he could be like Paul. Paul's is literally a fucking god in comparison to Brett, okay? Give me a break. Well, TJ is basically like the transcended universe itself in comparison, okay? So, like, I mean, if we're gonna get this grandiose, just a little hyperbolic, there's some there for you. TJ has a daddy complex for Paul. Oh my god, they're fucking retarded. Scotty doesn't get mentioned at all. Well, see, that's how Scotty won the conversation, because, like, Scotty barely said anything. And whatever, you know, he did say was, for the most part, kind of inoffensive and just kind of, if anything, more than, like, a question or two. Like, he barely said anything, so of course he's not going to get mentioned. But anyway, let's keep going with this.
Stand with Israel. Now, the timing is everything, because you can see that there was still more sympathy towards Israel following the 10/7 attack, but as time went on and evidence of war crimes emerged and went viral, more and more people began to express sympathy with Palestinians and speak out on their behalf. Now, I think it's important to point out this correlation, because there's a coordinated effort to smear all critics of Israel as anti-Semitic and conflate support for Palestinian civilians with support for Hamas. But that's wrong. It's slander. It's a straw man. And that's not what we're seeing.
And it's also basically gaslighting. It's like, you can, like, supporting Palestinians and supporting an organization are literally two different things.
TikTok, contrary to popular belief. In fact, Axios reports TikTok does not allow terrorist content on its platform. Hamas, a TikTok spokesperson confirmed to Axios, is considered a terrorist group by the platform and is banned. So here's what's actually happening. The media can no longer hide what's happening from us like they used to be able to do before. We're seeing first-hand accounts of violence against Palestinians, and in response, there's been a shift in public opinion. We're seeing videos of what is happening in Gaza. And as a result, Israel has ramped up the propaganda in an effort to mislead the public, but they've gotten sloppy in their desperation, and that's also hurt them.
I mean, and this is just because, like, with fascists, just in general, they're not really good at the propaganda game. I mean, like, conservatives or right-wingers broadly can be. I mean, or else, like, they wouldn't have conditioned so much of the world into their bullshit. But fascists, more specifically, are a lot more competent with it. Like, I mean, you know, like, they basically kind of need, like, more moderate style, like, conservatives, you know, to kind of help with their propaganda game. You know, like, because if not, then, yeah, they are sloppy, and they're not really going to be that good at it. I mean, it was how it was with the Nazis. Like, if you look at Nazi propaganda, like, it's really fucking stupid. Like, it's honestly, if anything, literally overt. Did good propaganda game at the time. Well, maybe in the early days, because they were collaborating with conservatives and with moderates and other elements of the right wing and monarchists who want to bring back the Kaiser and shit. Like, I mean, that's partly why, because there was collaboration, like I'm talking about. Once they had total fucking control and they were in complete power after you know, Hitler won a chancellorcy and shit, that's when things kind of started to shift. And especially, you know, once the war broke out, the whole propaganda game started to get very fucking sloppy. And I think, you know, this is analogous here too. Because for a long time, like, Israel's government, you know, wasn't just, you know, hardliners and fascists. There were also, like, you know, different conservatives and centrists, and at least to a certain smaller degree, even, like, more liberal-leaning people in their parliament and shit. But now at this point, like, pretty much all of them are hardliners and fascists. Like, I mean, they've, you know, co-opted and seized power over the decades and generations. You know, way more of a longer-term game instead of a lot more of a swifter, quick grab of power like the Nazis did in the 30s. But still, nonetheless, it's relatively the same strategy. What was that one Nazi movie they love to throw around? Strength of a Nation or something like that? I don't know. I mean, I know, like, there's Birth of a Nation, but that's like a Confederate. Yeah. You're thinking of the KKK movie, The Birth of a Nation. I mean, which also, that movie is kind of a strange mix, because, like, the movie itself is fucking racist as shit, but also it, like, pioneered a lot of cinema for its era. Like, I mean, it helped, like, kind of push cinema and, like, movies, you know, for its time, too. Triumph of the Will. I think that's what you're thinking of. I think the more Nazi movie you're thinking of is Triumph of the Will. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. I have seen Birth of a Nation, and, you know, it's like, while there are some aspects of it that, you know, are kind of cool, the movie itself, especially with its messaging, is very garbage and trash as fuck. I mean, because it's just a literal pro-racist movie. It's like, I mean, I'm not going to defend that. Like, so, it's... Do you know what it was originally called? I don't, actually.
Hollywood conspiracy theories where they accuse Gazans of faking their injuries and deaths. They've claimed that a calendar was a terrorist.
The Klansman. Okay, that is way worse.
They claim to have found a perfectly clean copy of Mein Kampf in a child's living room, and as Alexander Smith of NBC News puts it, all of these information missteps have led to questions about Israel's credibility.
Oh, you know that whole Mein Kampf book that was just shown there? Like, the Israeli propagandist that was showing that book is saying, well, you have found this often dead Hamas man who was in a children's bedroom, you know, after we bombed the shit out of it. And it's like, it's literally a perfect edition. If somebody was reading that to people, there would, like, be notes. It would look very well worn. Hell, it would probably look a little burnt on the edge or some shit because, you know, like, it, you know, of like a bombing or something. Like, it would look really worn out. Like, I mean, you know, especially considering, you know, what's going on in Palestine, right? Like, it ain't just like your typical bookshelf, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, why would it be such perfect condition? Wouldn't a book be in shit condition if it got bombed? I mean, I don't expect it to be utter shit condition, but I expect it to at least, you know, not really, like, hold its shape well.
Now, to be clear, by information missteps, he means lies. So, if you're an empathetic person who cares about human life and you're objective, you're very clearly going to be critical of Israel here. But, according to Israel's defenders, TikTok is to blame for all of the pro-Palestinian sentiment. Now, in the same way that TikTok is apparently turning kids trans, as Charlie Kirk has alleged, they're now turning the kids into Hamas supporters, even though Hamas isn't allowed on the platform and pro-Hamas sentiment.
It's like, is there like a CQ now? Do they just like think, is there like a Chinese question conspiracy happening now? Where they think like the Chinese government is like, you know, secretly in charge of like the whole world and even running the Jews and TikTok and trans in the world and all that. Like, what the like, I'm like, what is going on with these conservative psychopaths, dude?
Banned. But don't take my word for it. This is what the ADL CEO had to say about TikTok in leaked audio.
This is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States support for Israel is not left and right.
I mean, sure, I'm old to at least agree with that. I mean, it's not inherently a left or right issue, in my opinion. It's just a issue of, like, whether you're, like, empathetic and humane. And, you know, or whether you love, like, spilling blood. So, I don't know.
Young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high.
What? So he's playing into the whole generational gap bullshit, being like, oh, it's young and old people, that's where it really is. And these young people just love Hamas. It's terrifyingly high and shockingly high.
We really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem.
Now, to be fair, it's not just him saying.
Oh my god.
Fuck this guy. Republican lawmakers.
Man, dude, the ADL is a fucking joke now. Like, holy fuck. They really fell off so quick. Like, Jesus Christ. They are a fucking embarrassment now.
Have also renewed calls for TikTok to be banned, with them pointing to anti-Israel sentiment as another reason to ban the app. And also a number of Jewish celebrities have reportedly confronted TikTok executives in a private call, according to the New York Times. They report the celebrities and creators described, sometimes with fiery rhetoric, how TikTok's tools did not prevent a flood of comments like Hitler was right or I hope you end up like Anne Frank under videos posted by them and other Jewish users. Quote, what is happening at TikTok is it is creating the biggest anti-Semitic movement since...
And maybe you could ban those accounts or making those comments specifically, because, like, that has nothing to do with, like, you know, the concept of, like, you know, freeing Palestine from the oppression that's going on. Like, I hate this bullshit of, like, equating, like, you know, weird Nazi-istic, like, anti-Semitic shit like that to, like, oh, free Palestine and shit. Even the River to the Sea thing, too. It's just like, I mean, you know, it's like, well, I guess that's a little bit more complicated. I mean, I think at this point, you know, it's kind of easier to notice, like, whether someone's saying that in the sense of, like, you know, free Palestine versus, like, anti-Semitic shit. Like, I think it's kind of easier at this point to defer the difference. Like, I think, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, me saying from the River to the Sea, you know, Palestine can be free, or will be free and shit, like, it's definitely a lot different than some anti-Semitic dog fuck, you know, saying that shit.
Says Sacha Baron Cohen, who does not appear to have an official TikTok account, said early in the call. He criticized violent imagery and disinformation on the platform, telling Mr. Presser, shame on you, and claiming that TikTok could flip a switch to fix anti-Semitism on its platform. Mr. Presser and Mr. Melnick of TikTok, who are also Jewish and based in the United States, were largely conciliatory in the meeting. Obviously, a lot of what Sasha says, there's truth to that, Mr. Presser said, referring to Mr. Cohen's remarks that social media companies needed to take more action. Mr. Presser later said there was no magic button to address all the concerns raised. Deborah Messing, who has more than 37,000 followers on TikTok, pressed executives on TikTok's moderation of the pro-Palestinian slogan, from the river to the sea, which many Americans regard as...
Oh my god. Like, I was literally just talking about that. Like, fuck off this shit. See, this is what I mean. Like, you know, they'll, like, you know, freak out over, like, you know, probably honestly legit anti-Semitic shit, and then they'll, like, start equating anything that happens to be remotely pro-Palestinian as that. Like, I mean, you know, it's just like, fuck off. It's like, I mean, it's like, this idea that just, like, you know, an avocation for, like, you know, peace, you know, Palestine and shit, and, you know, and freeing Palestinians from the oppression and shit is somehow, like, fuck all Jews or some shit. It's just, like, fucking chaotic. And it drives me insane, because, like, it's the most, like, insane gaslighting there really could ever fucking be about this shit. And, like, to the point where I think it's just genuinely fucking offensive. Like, the idea that, like, you know, oh, well, you know, it's like, you just want to hurt all Jews or shit. It's like, it undermines, you know, people that actually do fucking hate Jews and shit. Like, Nazis and anti-Semites and, you know, fucking, like, hardcore, genuine, like, Nazi, like, Islamic extremist types and shit. Like, there are people that are generally fucking weird as fuck about, you know, Jewish people and shit. And it's like, you know, and it undermines, you know, that fucking problem. Because you know, take people that, you know, could look at a government and their military and, you know, criticize that shit and be like, oh, no, you're just, you know, talking about the whole, you know, group of people in diaspora and shit. You're just referring to all of it. Like, it's an absolute. Which, honestly, in my mind, it's really, frankly, more anti-Semitic than, you know, saying, hey, you know, Palestine should be free. You know, or whatever the fuck. Because it's like, you're basically equating someone who has really no, like, legit, no fucking problems or no issues with, you know, with, like, Jewish folk and shit, because why would I have a problem with a Jewish person? Why? Like, I've, you know, I've been, you know, like, I've had friends and, you know, people, like, I work with and shit, you know, that, you know, I've been buddies with, you know, for high school, for my work, you know, like, they're literally, they're people, you know, just like, wow, shocker, everybody else. You know, it's like, they're human beings, just like, you know, anyone else is. You know, because, wow, we're humans, shocker. Never, you know, it's like, I know that person might look just slightly different than you, but hey, guess what? They're still a human being. You know, it's like, I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous. It's absurd. And even, like, you know, if someone's Israeli, like, I mean, there's, you know, most Israeli people don't even like their government right now at this point. So it's like, I mean, I don't even equate all Israeli people to this shit. It's their government and the hardliners that support it. It's pretty fucking obvious. I mean, it's like, and I hate how it has to be pretty much explained every motherfucking time these pieces of shit equate, you know, anti-Semitism with, you know, pro-Palestinian rhetoric. Like, it does, it really, honestly, to me, is generally, like, kind of offensive. Because it's just, because it just really, you know, deflects and undermines the whole real root of the fucking problem.
to eradicate Israel. Now, there were other celebrities that were grilling TikTok executives. Amy Schumer was also reportedly on the call. But to be clear, anti-Semitism is a growing problem around the world, and it absolutely has proliferated on the internet, specifically on social media platforms like Twitter. So I don't want to minimize the reality of that. And I have no doubt that these terrible things are being said, and they're also being said on TikTok, and that's unacceptable, and I unequivocally condemn it. Having said that, though, TikTok does far more to police hate speech than any other platform, at least based on my experience, right? But that's not to say that it has successfully eradicated all hate speech, because it's there, and it will continue to be there, and they can always do better. But this is not a problem that
unfortunately, I think, no matter how much you try to control it, there's always going to be like slips through the cracks and shit like that. But at the very least, what a platform can do is at least try to like proactively try to address it. And I guess, for every flaw that TikTok has, I mean, that probably ain't one of them.
TikTok. And I get the sense that this sudden hysteria over TikTok is a manufactured controversy by disingenuous bad faith actors with
wow, really? I never knew that.
motives to push a different agenda.
It kind of always has been, because like the same critiques you can make of TikTok, you can say for literally every other social media platform.
And I say this because one day after Greenblatt condemned Elon Musk for endorsing a viciously anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, he hailed Elon Musk for his, quote, leadership in fighting hate after he announced that he's banning the phrase from the river to the sea on Twitter. Furthermore, Amy Schumer, who was also on this call, is a racist Zionist who attacked people calling for a ceasefire while sharing a...
What is... Stabbing parents in front of children is legal? Burn babies, burn... Throwing grenades at kids, hiding in closets is not terrorism? Oh, Jesus Christ. This is actually psychotic. Oh, my God. Dude, Amy Schumer is a fucking psycho bitch, dude. What an actual sleazy greaseball fucking cunt, dude. Ugh. And she's never been funny. Like, oh, my God, she's never funny. She's always just some stupid, smug, bitchy lib. Like, ugh. I've always hated her.
That called
and now I really hate her with a passion. Fuck this cunt.
Rapists, not just Hamas, all Gazans rapists. And Sasha,
I wouldn't say she could go burn in hell, but not even Satan will want her.
Defended her, saying it is of interest that moment you fight against Jew hate, that people come out to destroy you. But more on him in a moment. As for Deborah Messing, she recently spoke at the pro-war rally in D.C. alongside Pastor John Hagee, who once claimed that Hitler was sent by God and blamed Jewish people for the Holocaust. So here,
definitely not a Nazi at all.
Here's what stood out to me about this article. Some of these celebrities lambasting TikTok executives over anti-Semitism have given a pass to racists and anti-Semites themselves, which makes me doubt their sincerity. And I get the sense that this really isn't about anti-Semitism on TikTok. It's about Israel, right? It's about supporting the government of Israel, and they just don't like that young people are critical of Israel because they're being exposed to facts about the situation, unlike older generations.
Because a lot of the conditioning that they've been raised with and growing up with, especially when it comes to this hyper Zionistic conditioning and stuff, it's now hitting them in the face. Like, reality is smacking them in the face, and they are, honestly, I would imagine that a decent chunk of these people are probably just in utter fucking denial. They're like, what? This is actually the reality? No, that has to be bullshit. A lot of it has to be fucking denial. At least for some of these fucking weirdos. I mean, for some people, like Amy Schumer shit, I think they have drank the Kool-Aid and embraced it. But, I just, hope that a decent chunk of some of these other people are just, in denial about it. And are just, because reality is just, too blunt in their face that, they're just going for that denialistic phase before they, go for all the other stages until acceptance.
What I think this is really about. Now, that's not to say that all of them are disingenuously using anti-Semitism as an excuse to try to shut down the conversation around Israel-Palestine. But I think that a lot of these people are doing that. The Republicans are certainly doing that, and I think that a lot of these celebrities on this call are doing that as well.
And Democrats too. Don't forget them.
Now, not all of them, though. In fact, of this group of celebrities, I think that Sacha Baron Cohen probably is more genuine, since he has the longest history of calling out social media platforms who profit off of hate. In fact, in 2021, Sacha Baron Cohen actually called out Twitter while it was still owned by Jack Dorsey, asking him why they allow the Hitler was right hashtag to exist. But here's the thing. He doesn't even have a TikTok. So I don't think that he's in a position to adequately address the climate on TikTok. Furthermore, given his history of calling out bigotry on social media, I do find it absolutely fucking astounding that he's not making Twitter his #1 priority. Because Nazis don't just exist on the platform, they thrive. They get boosted by the algorithm if they pay Elon Musk $8 a month.
Which is why I think a lot of them are kind of in denial in a way. At least for like Sasha's case, maybe. Because, because of what's going on specifically in the news, at the moment, like that's kind of in a way a main focus. And like it kind of, distracts away from like genuine anti-Semitism and genuine hate and shit that is spreading, on different platforms like on Twitter. And, that's why I say a lot of this bullshit, like when it comes to equating pro-Palestinian messaging to anti-Semitism, undermines advocacy against anti-Semitism. It undermines the whole idea of it because it allows that type of shit to kind of thrive in the fucking background. Because, look at Twitter now. That shit's been thriving way before the shit started, and now it's thriving even more so because of the shit. And it's like, apparently that's not being paid attention to as much, but all the pro-Palestinian messaging and shit is. So it's like it undermines the whole idea of trying to combat anti-Semitism, like while trying to advocate the same thing. It's like it's so ridiculous to me.
Oh, you can still care about TikTok, right? But what I'm saying here, not to be a whataboutism type of person, is that if you care about hatred on social media, I don't know why you would prioritize TikTok over a platform like Twitter. It just doesn't make sense. Or not even equally prioritize them. You just ignore Twitter, at least from what I've seen. It feels weird to me. But like all social media platforms, TikTok has problems too. I'm not denying that, and my goal isn't to run interference for TikTok, but to suggest that bigotry on TikTok is somehow worse than other social media platforms, or that the Chinese Communist Party is deliberately using TikTok's algorithm to promote pro-Palestine content to undermine the US's geopolitical interest in the Middle East is just so fucking unhinged to me, right? And TikTok responded to these allegations, and this headline from Vice pretty much sums up the situation.
Teens are just pro-pal. Yeah, no shit. Dude, younger people who have more access to the internet, and more access to accessibility of information and shit, like, yeah, they're going to kind of realize, more like the facts of the reality of things, in comparison to old generations and shit, when it came to them mostly having like radio, TV and shit like that. Like, so, yeah, duh. Like, it's not an algorithm thing. It's just that, yeah, it literally just is this.
It's not the algorithm. Teens are just pro-Palestine. And the article explains, the company wrote in a press release that its algorithm does not take sides, but operates in a positive feedback loop. The more of a certain type of content a user interacts with, the more of that type of content they will be shown. On TikTok, the videos people view, like, and share inform the recommendation algorithm about content they might find relevant. Using these signals, the recommendation algorithm creates a prediction score to rank videos to potentially recommend. The effective thrust of TikTok's blog post, then, is that young people are seeing more pro-Palestine content on the app because that's what they're engaging with. In other words, it's not the algorithm. Teens are just pro-Palestine, as the Vice headline pointed out. And I feel like...
it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, like younger people, it's not really just teens, but just, younger people in general, like, I think like there's even like polling data that shows this where it's like 30 people are like 30 years or younger tend to be a lot more pro-Palestinian in comparison to being pro-Israeli and shit. And that's just, and that's just kind of to me, kind of a duh. Like a lot of younger people have seen a lot of consequences of a lot more of the hardline right-wing extremism that, has come out of Israel and shit, in comparison to in the past, especially when it comes to like the media narrative on the whole situation. And now with that, whole media narrative being broken in a lot of ways, there's a lot more accessibility to, the other side of the, whole issue.
Pretty evident if you use TikTok. I mean, if you watch a cat video and you watch it from beginning to end, or maybe you watch it twice, you're going to see more cat videos. The algorithm isn't trying to brainwash you into supporting cats as our new overlords, although I would support that.
Yeah,
it's just showing you what you want because it wants to keep you engaged, because that's how social media platforms
make the cat videos. So do I.
Now, in their press release, they also outlined ways that they're trying to adapt and actively address the hateful content that they're seeing on TikTok. They're not denying that it exists, as Elon Musk would do. If you read the press release, they were completely reasonable in saying that they're trying to do better, but it's a work in progress. And they admit that there is fault here, but they also point out public polling data indicates that there was a decline in support for Israel among younger generations that predated TikTok's popularity, and that holds true today as well. And they even point to pro-Palestine sentiment being stronger on Instagram and Facebook. So it is a bit weird that they're being singled out.
Really? I didn't think that there would be more pro-Palestinian Honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Glad that they brought the receipts, but I mean, they're right. Of course, TikTok is not the cause of pro-Palestine sentiment. It's just another conduit within which young people can express themselves. But of course, TikTok is going to defend themselves. Of course, they're going to release a press statement saying that they're innocent. They're not necessarily impartial here. So, I mean,
I will grant them this, though. At least, like, weirdly enough, the people that run this app are, being more good faith, about, it being more honest about trying to maybe deal with the whole situation in comparison to, other, people that, on Twitter and, Facebook shit. It seems like, weirdly enough, they're a little bit better about dealing with shit like this. I'll grant them that. That doesn't really say much, but at least, when it comes to their whole, PR messaging shit, they seem to at least be a lot more, open about, oh, yeah, we're work in progress. We got some flaws. They're willing to at least admit that. While, corporations here, if their PR bullshit, would be no, so we uphold everything. And basically just deny it, but also at the same time kind of, implicitly admit it. At least, in their press statement, they are admitting it. It's yeah, we got some problems. It's a work in progress, and we're getting it worked out, but, we tried to do the best we can. And that's honestly legit more honest than, something that, a statement from, Facebook or some shit would be like. So, I'll grant them that. Not saying a lot, but, it's just kind of funny that, and ironic that, an app that is at least partially owned by the Chinese state government is a little bit more honest about it in comparison. It's good lord. Kind of find that a little ironic. It's barely anything, is there really? Oh, well, maybe not. But, I'll get one more bow loaded up, get myself to work and all that. Ugh. It's almost like China forces a bare minimum integrity. Yeah, kind of. At least, it's not saying much, but it is a bare minimum. And every now and then they will punish billionaires, so much to the point, every now and then they get literally yeeted. So, I don't know, every now and then, they kind of, will, flex out some shit that I'm okay. They have executed millionaires. Not just millionaires, but billionaires, too. For good or bad reasons, I don't know, debatable, but, they have. But, anywho, let's call it good for now. All that fun shit. So, peace out, and I shall see y'all in that next one. So,